Hello, this is Frank of the 12 Gates. In today's video we are going to be looking at how different versions of the Bible, especially say the modern translations, because a lot of the modern translations are based on the NIV, aren't they? And I use the King James Version of the Bible to the extent I don't even look at the New King James Version of the Bible. And we're going to look at why the choice of interpretation can be crucially important. It's just something I found whilst I was making one video, and that was the fruits of the Spirit. Yeah, and it mentions all these things, and I'll put the King James version of the Bible quote on the screen now. If you notice, most of these are fairly positive. You know, they're positive things, aren't they? But there's the rogue one that stands out there, and it's only in the King James Version of the Bible or older versions of the Bible. I'll show you on Bible Hub what it actually says, what the modern versions say. And it mentions long-suffering, doesn't it? When you go to the newer versions of the Bible, a lot of them based on the NIV, some are just completely independent, you end up with this situation where that word, it either doesn't exist, or some people say it's been replaced with patient. Patient doesn't exactly exist it's not mentioned in the KJV or any of the old versions of the Bible, but it's mentioned in these new ones, but they don't mention long suffering. Yeah. Why am I talking about this? Because at the end of the day, if you are in the Christian faith, you will know. When I did the verse on Paul and how he got saved, if you actually pull that verse up, what does it say? It says, "He will suffer for my name's sake." Yeah. Jesus suffered on the cross. Stephen got stoned to death. Paul suffered throughout his ministry, didn't he? And Jesus had his moments as well. And you know, at the end of the day, suffering is a part of it. I know I keep focusing on this because I've had 4 years of it, and especially the last 2 months, it's got to the stage where, you know, I've had enough of it, you know, and basically I sort of backed off. And as regulars know, I'm not going to repeat the words I said, but the Lord does work through the Bible, and I did get led to a Bible verse which mentioned the book of Job. I'll put that up on the screen. And that's basically what it's all about, isn't it? And that's what I'm saying. If these modern versions, if that's just one word, they're just deleting, they're just removing it, it does worry me. And it's interesting because somebody left a comment on a recent video I did on basically, I don't know, multianity, YouTubianity, online Christianity, what it's like out there now, how ridiculous it's getting, isn't it? All the isms out there, isn't it? Easy believism, you know, this ism, that ism, Armenianism and Lordship Salvationism and Calvinism and all this carry on, isn't it? That's what it's getting like out there now. It's very interesting to see. Somebody left a comment there and put on the bottom, well said. And that's why I always say at the end of my videos, you know, keep your eyes firmly fixed on the Lord. Don't keep your eyes on any man. This person mentioned that it doesn't matter. Something about that I said, you know, I use the King James Version. I recommend that to anybody new in the faith. And he said, well, it doesn't matter what the version is. That the Lord will work through whatever version. And that's why I made this video. Yes, I agree. If you're in the middle of nowhere and suddenly only the Message Bible turns up, or the English Standard Version, or all these ones where I'm showing you where long suffering doesn't appear as the fruits of the Spirit, then I'm sure the Lord will make you aware that that is the case, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say is, if you're just studying the Bible, you need to have the right version, because I can show you other things. There's another one, a word which I won't mention here because I'll make another video on it. This is so important. Exactly the same thing. You know, it doesn't appear in the NIV, and then all the modern translations, most of them are based on the NIV, so it doesn't appear there either. Yeah. And as you can see on this Bible Hub page, I've got it here. You just go through, you can see long suffering has been replaced by patient. Yeah. If we look at the dictionary definition in the Cambridge Dictionary, patience, yeah. This is what the word they use to replace long suffering for the fruits of the Spirit. It's in the more modern translations of the Bible. Yeah. The patience is the ability to wait or to continue doing something despite difficulties, or to suffer without complaining or becoming annoyed. Yeah, that's that. If we go into suffer is to experience physical or mental pain. Well, it's like, say, when you go into a hospital. Yeah, you go in there as a patient, for sure. But say you go in there in the accident emergency ward and, there's blood pouring out of you, you're in absolute agony. You are suffering, aren't you? But if you actually change that word and say, oh, I'm going to the accident emergency ward and blood is pouring out of me, I'm in terrible pain, I'm being patient, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yes, you are a patient, but you're not being, you need treatment straight away, isn't it? Suffering and patience are two separate things. They're intertwined in some ways. And that's what I'm saying. This is what's happened with the modern translations. They've looked and think, okay, all the words that are mentioned, if we bring it up on the screen again, all the words that are mentioned of the fruit of the Spirit, they're fairly positive, aren't they? If you change long-suffering to patience, it fits in, doesn't it? But if you just leave it as the original old versions of the Bible, it is long-suffering, isn't it? In Book of Acts, where he actually got saved. The Paul verses in Acts 9. If you go back to that, if you actually look at that and it says, he will suffer for my name's sake. If you change that word suffer to patient, it'll be, he will be patient for my name's sake. It completely changes the meaning, doesn't it? And that's what I'm saying. Talking from personal experience, I can relate to all those things, the fruits of the Spirit, peace, love, joy, these sort of things, humbleness, meekness, those sort of things. I can relate to it. But long-suffering, I would say, is one of the most prominent ones. And any Christian, a Spirit-filled believer, as I mentioned in a previous video, true believer, somebody that's been saved and has got the Spirit, they will go through this stuff. Why? Because you're walking the same as Jesus Christ. You'll be walking as he walked, isn't it? And that's it. You're heading to your very own Calvary, and that's just one of the examples. I will show you other examples in other versions of the Bible. So getting back to what I was saying, if you're in a situation where your phone's gone dead and you've got a KJV on the phone or whatever version you get on with, and your phone's dead or your iPad's dead or whatever, and you're miles away from home, you've got no version of the Bible, and say you're staying at a hotel and suddenly you pull the drawer open, they don't do it anymore now, do they? But maybe in America they do, and you see, the Gideon's Bible, and it's the Niv, and suddenly the Lord is trying to communicate with you through the Bible, then he'll work through that version, But if it was me, I'd confirm and go back to the King James Version at a later date. You know what I mean? But that's just the way I work, But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. It's basically, this is some of the things that come up. It's discernment, isn't it? I did a video on this. I suggest you watch it. This is part of the discernment process. Which version of the Bible is more correct. Some say that the more modern versions, they're basing their translation on the Niv, but also they found new manuscripts, and they're saying that the King James Version of the Bible, especially the one I read, the 1611, is out of date, and these are the more correct versions. But a lot of the time, when you compare them side by side, all the verses, they look exactly the same. And there's other times it's just one word has been changed. And as I said in one of my videos, I found the King James Version of the Bible, you can't speed read it. You have to read it slow and ponderous because of the language, and it sinks in. And once it's there, it just doesn't seem to go. For me, the New International Version, that one, I can speed read that. I could probably read the Bible in half the time. I find it's like baby food. It goes in, you're not digesting, and it just goes out the other end, and nothing seems to happen. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. If you found anything in the Bible, difference between different versions, you found various things that have been omitted, leave it in the comments below. Anyway, this is Frank of the 12 Gates. As I always say, peace, love and joy. Keep your eyes firmly fixed on the Lord. And I shall catch you in the next video. This is just a quick, my voice and a few pictures. Because I'm a bit busy today, so hence why I'm doing this. And it was more of a sort of a screencast, I suppose, showing you things on the screen. And I shall catch you in the next video.